We had a team meeting and we learned about the Enneagram. And I was wondering how you think that the Enneagram-based activities influence our understanding of team dynamics and individual roles.
The Enneagram workshop was fabulous, by the way, and having somebody here to explain essentially what the Enneagrams were, what each person's role is, and how they interacted with each other was really important to be able to understand how we do get work done together, how we need to communicate with each other, and how we really do bring out the best in each one of us so that we can perform at the highest levels. I would highly recommend any company to do an Enneagram workshop, have all their employees tested. One of the interesting things, and I maybe get ahead of myself, but one of the interesting things that I found were that a lot of people within your company essentially get misclassified as their Enneagram a lot. I know I did when I took it the second time around, and I came out to be a 1, a perfectionist, which a lot of things didn't really resonate with me from that perspective. And I'm like, I don't really think I'm a 1, but it's saying that I'm a 1. And I think a lot of people within our group felt that way too, or they want to be a certain Enneagram and they're really not. And it's personal, I would have to say. There's a lot of emotions that go into it. It really calls you out and your actions that you take and how you process things. It's very interesting that people will shy away from what they truly are to be something else. And it's really important to go through these workshops so that you do realize who they are and they do come to grips with how they do things, because that's how leaders and managers are able to function with them. They may communicate differently with someone who's a 3 versus someone who's a 2 versus someone who's a 9. And it really does, as managers and leaders, we need to take all that information and go, what is the best way we can communicate with everybody? And doing these workshops have been, great for me as a leader.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think also that as an employee, it's also your responsibility to understand what you are and how you need to communicate to the leadership, not only your teammates, but also the leadership. There's some ownership there too.
100%. If you like to be spoken to or received your information in a certain type of way, knowing what kind of Enneagram that you are or what your number is, I do think you have a responsibility to communicate that to your leaders and to your managers and say, look, this is the way that I function the best. And I know this about me, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I know that it may not make me feel very good about what this is, but this is how I function the best, and this is how I need to be communicated to. And that's way people can very much be successful and productive and very effective in what they do.
What specific insights did you gain from your own Enneagram type? And how does that impact your work style, your interactions, having a better understanding of it?
Once we determined that I wasn't a 1 and then I was an 8, and reading kind of the characteristics of an 8 and how that person,
and an 8 is
it's
the challenger.
It's a challenger, really. Yep. And it really pretty much challenges every question that's on the table. It's a big thinker, but can also be very harsh and very hard to get into, hard to be kind of part of that.
Earn trust,
right? Yeah. Trust is a big thing for an 8, and individuals have to gain trust to be inside the circle of trust, as the Fockers would say. And that's a true for an 8. I do feel like that guy on Meet the Parents was an 8.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But knowing that's how I do things and that's how I function, for me, it really, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done on how you can work on your Enneagram and be better than where you've essentially spent your whole life being dictated, or how you've developed your entire life and how you respond to things. So for me, it's just realizing what I do and how I do them and how that makes people feel and think about me is really important, because the Enneagram workshop also says, look, you come across as X instead of Y. You don't mean to, but this is what people think of you when you talk. So if I know that people are hearing this piece of it, then for me, I can change my message so that they don't feel that way. Like 9s are supposed to be aloof or to seem like they're lazy when they do that, and they're really not. They're just thinking about things differently. And so as a 9, if you're like, hey, by the way, this person's thinking that I'm lazy, but I'm really not. So that's the way that you can respond to how people think about you.
We also did a workout together, being that health and wellness is important to our company and our culture. How do you think that contributed to team morale and just personal well-being overall?
After the C-levelers caught their breath, I think that working out really hard, because it was a hard workout. It wasn't some kind of leisurely bike ride. It was difficult. Seeing everybody come together and work out together and accomplish these workouts together, I think put a lot of respect for each other. I think we all have different ways of exercising or taking care of ourselves. Some people just like to do long walks. Some people like to run a marathon. Some people do 100 push-ups. But we all did the same thing on the same timeline, and we all made it through. And I really feel like that did bring us together as a team to accomplish a task that we wouldn't normally do. It's a little scary when you bring team members together and you talk about going to work out when you have no idea if they work out or not. But it
What
was
their fitness level is, and
the commitment, fitness level, their ability to handle altitude, whatever you want to say, coming together and accomplishing it together, something that is really not work related, was quite the experience for me. We didn't really take the poll on the team of how they felt about it, but I felt like everybody was very excited about it. And we did go to breakfast afterwards and gained our breath and reset for the day. And it was a really great day.
yeah. Also, I think everyone gained a little more mutual respect for each other,
Agreed.
just getting through it.
Knowing you could get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Literally never worked out together.
One of the team building exercises that we did was sitting down and pairing up and finding 10 or more things that we had in common. What were the key takeaways from that? How do you think that affects how we work with each other on a daily basis?
I thought it was a really good exercise, and kudos to our project manager for putting it together and actually assigning who we were with, which I think was really important too, because some of us spend more time with each other on a daily basis and know a lot about each other. So it was really nice to be able to talk to some new employees or somebody you might want to speak with, which we don't really know what we have in common. But knowing that work is not the only thing that we have in common, which we all know that that's what it is. We all work here. Knowing that there are other things we can relate to each other on is really important. Someone likes cooking, or someone likes cars, or someone likes to go hiking, or 14ers, or whatever. We have something in common that we can relate to that may help us with our performance and making sure that we all have something relatable that's not just work. And I really do feel like knowing somebody and knowing their dreams and goals and where they want to be in the end of the day is really important, so that we can help them achieve their dreams and goals. And that's by finding commonalities between each other.
I agree. And I also think that because we work remotely,
Right.
I think it's harder to make those connections on a daily basis because we're not going to the break room or grabbing a coffee or anything like that.
The common theme, I think, between everybody that came was we really enjoy seeing each other in person, not necessarily on Zoom or Teams or whatever, but we really do like sitting around and having a discussion and being able to look somebody in the face that's a real person versus just a screen, and interacting with them as the days go on. And I think the team echoed just getting together and having those face-to-face conversations were great because we are so remote.
Is there anything that you can speak to about creating brand awareness and our company's identity and values?
I think the 2 days that we spent together really did show our commitment to not only Ronan, but compliance and our expertise and our ability to take care of ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically. We really did that in the 2 days that we were here to be able to grow and to be able to professionally develop. That's what we're about here at Ronan. We want wholeness. We want to be experts in the industry. We want to be experts in compliance. We want to be experts in what we do, which I think our team does have that. And then we also want to promote wellness and well-being, which we promoted as well. So having all of those pieces together with everybody in the same room, talking about the same goals, talking about the same objectives, going through the Enneagram workshop, as well as getting to know each other, really did lead us down this road of being more kind of well-rounded with not only work, but wellness and well-being.
Yeah, I was thinking like not only experts in compliance, but expert in ourselves.
Yeah, and you got to look inward to be able to do that. I'm not sure we got the spirituality thing, but we definitely got the physical. And I feel like we got the mental and emotional part of it.
How do you think that having quarterly meetings contribute to reinforcing or reshaping our company culture?
I really do think getting together and being one-on-one and having FaceTime in one location is really important. While we also talk about our values, our brand values of compliance and, like you said, wellness, these quarterly meetings are really important so that we can help everybody professionally develop and professionally grow. And if we continue to bring that type of workshop every quarter, then everybody that's here is going to continue to excel and going to continue to grow. To me, is the most important part of what we do here is having people develop. People leave us and do another job that's bigger and better. That's kudos, right? That's the best compliment I could ever have is someone moved on to something bigger and better. That's great. I would never say don't do that. So if we can help with their development with these quarterly meetings, if we can help with their growth from a career standpoint, then it's worth every penny we spend.
I agree. Were there any challenges or obstacles during the meeting that we should address so that we can improve in future sessions?
We had a really good mix of time versus activities. In the past, we've had some sessions that maybe have been too long or had different things that weren't as productive. So I think the challenge this time was we probably cut down the timing that we spent together and cut down our activities. And I wish that we would have had just a little bit more time, I think, which is funny because we went from a longer period, too much time to too short of time. But now we know how to get more information in a more defined period of time so that people can walk away with some good things as opposed to being overwhelmed and just going, this is just too much for us to deal with. So
Like there needs to be a balance between not enough activity and information overload.
yeah. And I think a lot of people come away with team meetings or strategic partnership meetings with just a laundry list of things that they have to do. And we've done that in the past. And it just becomes too much to even implement or to put into place over between that and the next time that you have this meeting. So I believe that we did a lot of introductions, a lot of personal development, a lot of kind of learning about each other, which in my mind will help us work better as a team and together. That to me is we have some new people, and that's where we needed to reset and start.